if you are inviting your mother over to China, so the first thing you need first, which is the most critical part, is for your Z visa to be more than 6 months old. Second, if you are inviting your mother, you need your birth certificate to be apostilled, not abridged. You need unabridged. The difference between abridged and unabridged is unabridged does not carry both parents' full name, but unabridged carries all these details of the both parents. So and unabridged is mainly for overseas. So you need an unabridged birth certificate, and this unabridged birth certificate must be apostilled at DECO. So number three, you need a letter of invitation. State the name of the applicant, which is your mother, passport number, duration, your phone number, your address, the address where he or she will be staying at, and you sign the letter. It doesn't have to be a formal letter with a letter headed of your company, no, just a normal letter. You understand? So,
Yes.
and you need your Chinese work card, PDF scan copy to be sent to her to submit at the embassy. If your mom, although it's mandatory for every applicant to come through to the embassy to do their fingerprints when they're submitting for their visas. But if your parent is older than 65 years, they don't have to come. They could courier in their passport using Postnet to the Chinese embassy. 65 years older. So, but if you are 45, if your parents are 45 or 50, they will have to come to the embassy to do their fingerprints at the embassy.
That's
Now,
great.
I've just got another question which I've been asked before. Say for instance, and this is a scenario that I want to do quickly. Say for instance, my mother is bringing my child to China, but my child is going to stay with me for the rest of the time that I'm in China. But my mother is coming back. What should I do then? What steps do I need to follow document wise?
That's a very good question.
I love that. That's a very good question. And then I don't know if you remember a lady called Maritza. She had the same issue, and we had to like go through hell before we could get things done, right? So let's say you are in China. Let's use Sampi as an example. Sampi is the one inviting his mom to come with the child. And the both parents are not traveling with the child. First and foremost, you that you are in China, you need to go to the notary lawyer in China to state that you are living in China and you want your child to travel with your mother to China. The notary lawyer, it's easy. They're everywhere in China. You just tell them that they should give you a notary. I will share the sample of how the notary looks like in the blog so that they will have a better understanding. So you go to the notary lawyer to do this, and the letter needs to be stated that your mother with this so passport or ID number is coming with your child to China. Otherwise, when we submit at the Chinese embassy, application will be rejected. And the mother, you remember, Sampi is the father to the child. The mother also is not traveling with the child. If the mother is living here in South Africa, you then tell the mother to go to the police station to do an affidavit stating that the child is traveling. with the grandma, so, and he or she is going to meet with the dad in China, blah, blah, blah. You understand? So an affidavit needs to be done at the police station. But yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
That does, but I did have a case um, where let's for instance say the mother had her child is coming to visit, right? But she has to have somebody that's a person to come with that child if that child is a certain age. The child was very young, so 6 years old. Okay, so but the father passed away. The father passed away, so they couldn't get permission for that. But still, she had to go through the process of getting his death certificate, and
Yes.
the mothers that or the person that brought the child to her had to go through the same steps. Go to the police station, do an affidavit that she's coming with the child, the mother's unabridged birth certificate, the child's unabridged birth certificate, a copy of the passport,
Mm.
and the invitation letter from the mother's school in China
In China.
saying
Mm.
that her child will be coming up to her, and they uh, they stamped it and sealed it. It doesn't have to be like you said on a letterhead, but it has to have all of that. And then obviously when you do the booking, you can help do this, correct, Nelly? You can help
Yeah,
do the tourist
exactly.
visa.
Exactly. I think Naomi should change her profession to document authentication because she actually even explains perfectly the way if the one of the parents has passed away, death certificate must be actually not just the letter, the death certificate. Death certificate is just like a paper, right? It's not a certificate. It needs to
No,
go through notary lawyer,
correct. Yes.
high court. If it's going to be used in China, it doesn't need to go through DECO. So it needs to go through notary lawyer to have it apostle, and then high court for apostolization. Then it's valid enough. So yeah.
That's good. Now, what happens when, say, for instance, the mother or the father is divorced, but the father doesn't want to give permission? That means if the father doesn't give permission, as far as I understand from experience with some of my teachers, that child cannot go. Doesn't matter what she has, unless the father is missing in action. She will have to get a lawyer to draw up a letter with her, with all the documents stating that's even before she leaves South Africa. She has to go through all of that to take a child with, because it's child trafficking is a major factor.
Yes.
Just the other day we were watching Cross Borders. I'm sorry,
Mm.
I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah,
A
perfect.
a gentleman had to go to Australia with
Mm.
one child to his brother's child to him,
Mm.
but he had to show who he was. He had to show his birth certificate, if he's related to that person. Does this person his work permit, his work permit where he comes from had to show where he is, who he is, and they actually validate. He's at the airport. They phone to those people and they phone to the father, and the father has to validate that this is his child coming with this person. He
Mm.
nearly lost his flight space on it, but that is how child trafficking is now being stopped. You have all of these documents, unabridged birth certificates. Now, like Nelly said, father, mother, letters, passports, everything. Everything has to be dotted and i'd. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Um, that's the steps. It's they actually do this to stop and help other children from
Mm.
disappearing out of
Y-
countries.
because I'm also a father. I wouldn't want anybody to traffic my child. You understand? And we've even had some situation that some mothers would want to travel with the child without the father's consent. And the moment we tell her that, hey, no, you need to go and get this letter from the father, and that is where there will be a problem. And I always back out. I don't even know if the story is genuine. I don't want to know if the story is genuine or not genuine. I always back out because come to think of it, we being an agent as well, it could fire back at us
Yes, it can,
on the
because you
long
will
run.
be for helping her traffic her child.
Traffic a
Or it's
child.
it's still going to illegal trafficking a child to another country. It doesn't matter in what option you look at it. It is still child endangerment. You don't know if that mother actually ran away with the child or the father
Exactly.
is running away with the child. So it is going to be something that will be a never-ending story. It doesn't matter from which country to which country you go.
Court is doing now, they will actually wait for like 8 to 1 year. If the father can still can't be found, then the court will now give a court order that they've done everything in their power and they couldn't find the father. So the court order you are providing me, that is what we would then have it apostilled and everything. Then before we submit a document to Chinese embassy, because like I said earlier on, we also need to protect our reputation because
Yes,
we have people at the Chinese embassy that they've known us for many years. So if we're saying that, oh no, this person is fine, let's just let it go, do it the way it should be done. No, we wouldn't want to tarnish our name at the Chinese embassy as well. We need to make sure that it's like the same way, like some people will tell me, oh, Nelly, you are being difficult. You're telling me to bring this, you're telling me to bring that. It's not that maybe I'm being difficult. I have to filter you first to make sure that everything is perfectly done before I even submit your document. I'm not gonna take the document that is incomplete, that will make me to look like a fool
but that's
to
the
a
whole.
consular.
Yeah, teachers think we've just been difficult, but the thing is,
Mm.
if we don't keep to the rules and regulations that is put aside for us as an agent, agency that do the document docs essay, you give them the wrong information, they're going to reject it in any case. It doesn't matter what you do. So it's not you or me being difficult. You have to follow the law.